Hunter Biden and James Biden received millions of dollars from companies connected to the communist Chinese regime. But frankly, it's worse than that. These companies were effectively an arm of the Chinese government. This isn't Russian disinformation. These are hard facts backed up by bank records of actual financial records and transactions that prove just how connected the Bidens were and how compromised President Biden probably is. I'll use this next series of transactions to prove my point. The first chart here shows a bank record showing a $1 million wire transfer into the account of Hudson West 3 from CEFC Limited on November 2nd, 2017. As Senator Grassley and I have already established, CEFC is effectively an arm of the communist Chinese regime. It is also important to note that at the time of this transfer, in November 2017, Hunter Biden was already invested in and providing management for Hudson West 3. So a company that was effectively an arm of the Chinese government transferred $1 million in November 2017 to a company that Hunter Biden is managing and is invested in. Let's bring up the second record. Focus on the $1 million wire out on March 22nd, 2018. Again, this is a record from Hudson West 3's bank account. Like the previous record, this is showing the transfer of $1 million, but this time the money is being transferred out of Hudson West 3 to Owasco, another one of Hunter Biden's firms. This transfer took place on March 22nd, 2018, a little less than 5 months after the $1 million transfer from CEFC to Hudson West 3. Hunter is transferring $1 million between two firms he manages and has ownership in. So what is the purpose of these two $1 million transfers? This next record seems to answer that question. This record shows Owasco's receipt of the March 22, 2018 $1 million transfer. It also shows what the transfer is for on the OBI line. OBI is an abbreviation for Originating Beneficiary Information. It's like the memo line on your personal check. It tells you really what that check was about. In this case, the OBI indicates the transfer is being made for, quote, Dr. Patrick Ho Chi Ping representation, unquote. So to recap, on November 2nd, 2017, Patrick Ho's company, CEFC, wired $1 million to Hunter Biden's company, Hudson West 3. On March 22nd, 2018, Hudson West 3 wired $1 million to Owasco, another Hunter Biden company. The bank record clearly states the $1 million payment was being made for the purpose of representing Patrick Ho. Represent him for what? Here's where things get interesting. We know that Patrick Ho was arrested by U.S. authorities in November 2017 for international bribery and money laundering charges. Keep in mind that this arrest occurred in the same month that Patrick Ho's company, CEFC, is wiring $1 million to Hunter Biden's company, Hudson West 3. According to the Department of Justice, quote, Ho orchestrated and executed two bribery schemes to pay top officials of Chad and Uganda in exchange for business advantages for CEFC China, a Shanghai-based multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that operates in multiple sectors, including oil, gas, and banking, end quote. These are crimes for which Patrick Ho was eventually convicted and sent to federal prison for committing. So the company that Patrick Ho was making bribes for sends $1 million to a company Hunter Biden manages and is invested in. That company in turn transfers $1 million to another Hunter Biden company for the purposes of representing Patrick Ho, who was eventually convicted of international bribery and money laundering. And guess what Patrick Ho did around the same time he's arrested by the FBI for corruption and bribery? He contacted James Biden, President Biden's brother. Patrick Ho's decision to call the Biden family around the same time he got arrested is revealing, particularly in light of the fact that the same month $1 million just happened to be transferred to Hunter Biden's company. Now, Hunter Biden isn't a criminal defense attorney. Patrick Ho was charged and convicted for bribery, and related federal offenses and crimes. So what kind of representation was Patrick Ho's company paying Hunter Biden's firm to provide? Were they paying for his firm's legal expertise or for Hunter's political connections? In March 2021, Senator Grassley and I asked the Justice Department about Patrick Ho. Why? Because there's a federal court filing that says the department has FISA records on Patrick Ho. We requested these records. In response, the department would not confirm whether they even had his records. Unfortunately, the Attorney General refused to clarify that outrageous contradiction for Congress. Oh, and one more tidbit. In a recently uncovered audio extracted from his laptop, Hunter Biden referred to Patrick Ho as, quote, the expletive-deleted spy chief of China, unquote. Let that sink in a minute. Hunter Biden referred to Patrick Ho in an audio as the, quote, expletive-deleted spy chief of China, unquote. This quote alone tells you that Hunter Biden knew exactly who he was dealing with. He knew exactly who he was dealing with. He was dealing with the, quote, expletive-deleted spy chief of China. Now that fact should alert the media and our Democrat colleagues to seriously consider the implications the Biden family's vast web of foreign financial entanglements have in the conduct of this administration's foreign policy and our national security, but I'm not holding my breath. In October 2020, Senator Grassley and I requested to interview Hunter and James Biden about their financial dealings. If they had nothing to hide, they could have volunteered to come in and sit for an interview. If there was an innocent explanation for these foreign financial transactions, they could have used that interview to clarify what those transactions were about. Unfortunately, rather than being transparent, honest, and forthcoming, they declined to speak for us or to us. Their silence speaks volumes. Fortunately, facts are stubborn things. As the Bidens, our Democrat colleagues, and the media is learning, it is difficult to keep them hidden forever. Senator Grassley and I will continue to investigate the Biden family's foreign financial entanglements and provide the American people with the truth to the best of our ability. Our challenge is the deep state does not give up its secrets easily. New evidence of Biden family influence peddling is surfacing on a regular basis, often coming from records from Hunter Biden's laptop. The same laptop, by the way, that the media and deep state foreign intelligence agency officials strongly inferred, was, you guessed it, Russian disinformation. And their guile worked. Prior to the election, people bought the fact that that laptop was probably Russian disinformation. It wasn't, as New York Times just admitted about a year too late, more than a year too late, that laptop is authentic, and the evidence it is producing is real. But of course, that laptop wasn't Russian disinformation, nor is any of the information we presented in our reports and here on the floor of the Senate. We may never know all the details of the Biden family foreign entanglements or the full extent to which those entanglements compromise our current president. But I'm pretty confident I know who does know. Intelligence operatives in Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. Elements within our U.S. intelligence agencies probably also know. They're just not going to tell us or you, the American people. Senator Grassley and I will return